Hello and welcome back to the Jessica Pinelli podcast. I've got a little bit of a different setup for this podcast recording. I think I mentioned not last episode, the episode before, that I'm now going to start filming these podcast episodes and putting them on YouTube. So if you want to have a look at my setup, I've got a different microphone, mainly for aesthetic looks on a camera. I'm unsure about the microphone quality. I can't adjust it as well as my other microphone. So I'm going to see how it goes. I may just end up upgrading because I do really prefer the setup that I have for this microphone. But yeah, anyway, if it sounds a little bit different, that is the reason. But yeah, go have a look on YouTube. And I would obviously love if you subscribe. I am definitely feeling super motivated to stay consistent with YouTube in some capacity. Of course, this happens as I'm about to go to Europe, but I'm going to try get out shorter videos throughout the whole time that I'm in Europe. I leave next week. I am so excited, but I'm feeling really good. And I was having a talk to my partner last night about where my business is, the shifts that I've made. And I'm definitely at the point of my business now where I have grown it to the point that now is a time that I'm going to be scaling. I have got the foundations. They're in concrete. I've got all the foundations of my online business and things are pretty simplified. I do really believe that having an online business should be as simple as possible. But I will also say, on top of that, I have been building this business for the past 4 years, showing up with content for the past 6.5 years, maybe even seven. So it does take a lot of time. But I was just having a moment of gratitude because this trip that I'm going to for Europe, it's going to be I was about to say 7 years. Oh my God, I'm moving to Europe. Surprise. It's going to be 7 weeks long, and I'm definitely going to be working at some point in the sense of creating content, jumping in my community for my group coaching, jumping in Voxer for my clients. I have one call at the start of the trip for the Femme Club, and that will be in Poland. So that's kind of super exciting. But yeah, the way that I've built my business is I can have that flexibility. I'm not stressed. I'm not in this burnt out, like, oh my God, I have to organize so much. There is, of course, things that I've just had to get ready just for my own ease, just so it's just simple things that I can send out straight away, post straight away, and I don't have to make because they're tedious, they're time consuming. So I was having a bit of a proud moment. I guess it was also a really healing moment when I was speaking to my partner about this last night for my inner child and just getting to this point of having a business that is now at a scaling capacity. You will probably see a lot of online businesses that are consistently in the building phase, building, trying to hustle and grind and create momentum. And, slow and steady really does win the race. I think there was a period of my business where I was trying to go as fast as possible. But, I've really taken a step back to move forward this year. And yeah, I just wanted to share that moment of gratitude that I have and the moment I experienced with healing my inner child, because I know being able to go on such a long trip that's nearly 2 months, but also be at the capacity to work if I want, not work if I don't want to, but I love it. This is my life. I've created a business around the lifestyle that I want. So yeah, it's kind of like I feel like I've made it moment in different aspects. I know that's not going to resonate with everyone listening, but hopefully that can inspire you. And, it's really a big inspiration for my mastermind. So Elevate the Mastermind, it's my 90-day mastermind for high achieving women. Applications are now open. There are only 8 spots available. When I say mastermind, it is intimate because it's not just a group coaching capacity. It is also one-on-one support. So this is going to be the signature of a program mastermind that I run my business. And unless you're coming into my high ticket reclaim mentorship, this is definitely the best place to work with me. And it's all about being able to get you to decide and design a purpose-led life, regulate your nervous system to success, get crystal clear in success, and also eliminate all money mindset stress. So today's episode is definitely an inspiration from this mastermind that I'm really excited to go through. And last night, the idea for this podcast episode actually popped into my head. But Elevate, I feel so deeply connected to. It's really truly something that I wish that I had at the beginning of my business and middle of my business. And it's something that right now I feel at my highest capacity to be able to provide and lead all career or online business women. So I should clarify that you do not need to have an own business. It's not like, let's learn about business, but you are going to get the support, both group and both one-on-one, wherever you're at in life. Maybe you're coming into it, you're a career girly, but you really want to work on your self-trust and your relationships. You really want to work on your money mindset because maybe you're on a good salary, but you're living paycheck to paycheck. And maybe the other side is you are trying to build an online business and you're dysregulated as fuck. You are chaotic. You feel like you are spinning your wheels. You feel like you aren't seeing the progress in your business. And overall, for all women, you're not seeing the progress in your life that you thought you would by now. And another thing that I think is important is I definitely had a habit a few years ago where I was learning so much, but I just wasn't implementing. And then I would have a nervous breakdown because I was like, why isn't anything sticking? Like, why aren't I progressing? And it's because like I would feel so much resistance. I would procrastinate. I just, yeah, felt uneasy to move forward. I had a big fear of change, a big fear of success. And these are the types. Oh, it's 333 as I'm talking. Maybe that's your sign. If you're resonating with this, to slide into my DMs, have a chat with me, or even just go and apply. But yeah, this is really an opportunity for me to be in an intimate space for women who this definitely isn't for beginners. So if you're listening to this, you're at the beginning of your personal development journey. This definitely isn't for you. You need to have some knowledge, some foundation. Maybe you have invested before, but this is really for the women that are so ready for the next level. They crave this next level. They can see it in their head, they can feel it in their body, but there is something that is stopping them, or they just don't know what's next, what to choose, what's right, what direction to move in. And I'm really, really excited because the three main core pillars inside of Elevate is all about creating your purpose. So a purpose process, being able to connect with what success is to you and not just say success is like lots of money in my bank account and traveling I can't speak, traveling whenever. That isn't getting crystal clear. That is not being purpose led and purpose driven in your life. And I say this, it may sound a little bit attacky, but I say this because I was there. That was me. I'm like, yeah, it means lots of money and I can have freedom, like I'm sharing with you guys, but that's not it. You need to be really crystal clear. Into that is how, number one, how can we regulate our nervous system to find peace, find calmness, and not be in a chaotic, overwhelmed, burnt out state? But also, when we get the success that we desire, how do we maintain it? How do we sustain that success and regulate to that energetic capacity? And then the third pillar is money mindset. The money mindset is something that's been utmost importance to me over the past I would say 3 years deeply, of completely changing my relationship with money. And like I said, this is kind of what's inspired today's episode. And we are going to go so deep that it triggers the fuck out of you. But this is why I say Elevate the Mastermind is not for my beginners. And if you are still listening to this and you're like, okay, but Jess, I'm a beginner, I feel like I need something, just slide into my DMs, right? I do have other avenues, but this is definitely for all my women that are doing the work, that are resonating with this, and you're just like stopped. You feel like, oh, I'm not seeing progress. And so it is, like I said, application only. There are 8 spots. We begin September. Yes, I will say logistically, you do get payment plan options. You can pay a deposit. You can start your payment plan in September. And there's different options for that. It includes, just to kind of go into the logistics, it includes 3 monthly calls. You get one-on-one support with me as well at different degrees, and a bunch of resources, and just the most important aspect of all of this is 3 kind of rolled into one: the support, the accountability, and the expansive conversations. Because if I look back at everything over the past 4 to 6 years, those have been the things that have really moved me. And in fact, I have spent a lot of money. We have spent, as in my partner and I, have spent so much money for this Europe trip, but I've still put myself in a position. I have invested over 5 figures in the last couple of weeks in my own support and up leveling to be the best possible coach and mentor as I can possibly be, because there's blind spots that I need to be pointed out, right? And that's what I'm here for, to point them out. So if you're resonating with this, if you're looking for some support, you're ready to take basically your entire life, business, career, relationships, everything to the next level. Elevate is for you. Show notes below or come slide into my DMs and we can chat about it. But so I don't forget, I'm getting out my angel cards. We're going to go into today's topic, but as I'm trying to keep the new tradition, let's just pull out an angel card. I want you to think of an intention for the next week. What's your intention for the next week? I'm going to pick 2 cards. I'm just moving my keyboard. All right, hold that intention in your head. Don't change it. I'm going to split it. That was a terrible split. All right, choose a number, 1 or 2. Hold it in your head. Don't change. There's 1. There's 2. Yep, just checking. I have 2. I mean, one card, 2. All right, again, I'm going to do this intuitively, what comes up for me. So my number 1s, are you ready? Yes. The card, I'm showing it on camera, just say yes. Maybe you were thinking about Elevate. And maybe you're thinking about investing in yourself. Maybe it's not even to do with me. Maybe it's another investment, another thing. But yes, just say yes. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Whatever your intention was, whatever that question that came to mind, the answer for you is yes. I love that. I love that. And then my number 2s, align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? Ooh, this is good. This is a juicy one. So what I'm getting from this is right now there is something in your life where a lot of resistance is coming up, but it's because you're not allowing the flow. You're not allowing yourself to do what you truly love and what feels good in your heart space. So you need to align your life, and you're probably sitting there and you're like, okay, how? You know the answer. You know the answer. It's the one you keep avoiding. It's the one that scares you the most. Align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? Okay, that's our angel cards for this episode. Let's dive straight into 3 money mindset shifts that I have made over the past 2 to 3 years. So as I mentioned previously, I have been working on my money mindset properly for probably 3 years, maybe coming up to 3.5. No, I don't know. 3.5. And it's been a bit of a journey. There was definitely a period maybe last year where it took a bit of a backseat. But something I say to everyone that works with me in any capacity is that money mindset is work that you are doing all of the time. And I don't mean that you need to sit down every day and do a 2 to 3 hour journal and ask yourself about your limiting beliefs and trauma and, money issues. No, of course not. But as I'm speaking, this will give you kind of ideas of how to create money in your life as something that you love rather than a thing that causes you stress, a thing that causes you anxiety. And so this kind of feeds into my very first point, which is you need to develop a relationship with money. So if you look at all of the relationships in your life, I want you to think of the relationships that are most loving, that you enjoy being around, that are fun, that you love to just put your time and energy and effort into. That is the type of relationship I need you to have with money. Now, when I first heard this concept, when I first learned this concept, that was very odd to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's like so much easier said than done. But how do I actually have a relationship with money? And it's really treating it as you would a person. Now, imagine that money is a physical person standing right next to you. Whatever you're doing, maybe you're driving, maybe they're sat next to you, maybe they're on your walk with you. Imagine money as a physical person. Now, think of all the bad things, the negative things, the low vibrational things you say and think about money. Now, imagine saying it to this person that's right next to you who's called money. They're probably not going to like you. They're probably not going to want to stick around. They're probably not going to want to bring more of themselves. It's just like with any relationship you have, right? The more that you are saying the lower vibrational things or thinking those things, the more it's going to be this weird energy between you and the other relationship, the person in the relationship. So this is what I want you to actually look at when it comes to money is, what am I saying? What am I thinking? And if money was quite literally a person, like a physical, in our 3D physical reality, this person stood right next to me, would they like it? Would they respect me? Would they want to hang around me more? And the answer that I hear probably 99% of the time, and this was the answer for me, is probably not. You probably aren't a very nice person. And energetically, this is the type of understanding that we need to have when it comes to money. This is the type of understanding that we need to have when it comes to having a relationship with money. Because just like with anything that you have in your life, it is a relationship, and it should be a relationship that you were nurturing, that you were thinking about. So, an activity that I really urge you to go do, and if you're at capacity right now, is to get in your journal, get in your phone notes, and write down all of the awful things that you say about money, all of the unproductive things, all of the low vibrational things that you say about money. Something that's really helped me, because I'm such a visual person, is I'll quite literally draw a stick figure in my journal, label it, like name that stick figure money, and then I'll write it around. And if you're quite literally seeing on the piece of paper and envisioning, okay, this stick figure is money. Look at it, all of these horrible things that I'm saying, all the stress that I'm creating, all the disgust, all the dis-ease that I'm creating around money. And this probably is one, yeah, I'm going to say out of the three things I share with you today, this was probably one that has taken me the absolute longest to be able to do second nature and not feel so weird about. Because again, we can think this for this duration I've been speaking about it, and then we go off and do it, and it's like we forget it, right? We completely forget it. But everything, these 3 points that I share with you, I promise you, it has absolutely transformed everything to do with money in my life, everything to do with the relationship that I have with money, the way I see money. And the next 2 points are really going to feed into the first one. But start there, start with what is my relationship with money if money was an actual person. Now, my second point is neutralizing your feelings towards money, right? Taking it off the pedestal. We have been brought up in a society that has quite literally put money on a pedestal. Something that I teach all of my clients is the emotional matrix. So, in the higher vibration, on one side we have infatuation, the other we have fantasy. And if you've been in any of my containers, you've definitely heard me speak about this. On the bottom, on one side, we have resentment, on the other side, we have fear. So, a lot of the time, the pedestal, if you have anyone or anything, this is just a side note, anyone or anything on the pedestal, they are automatically in the fantasy quadrant. So, it's like a fantasy. I mean, that's exactly what it is, right? We're fantasizing about that. I mean, think of anyone in your life, or any influencer or any celebrity or anyone, that you have on a pedestal. It's this a bit of a fantasy that we have about them, that it's the best thing. We don't see any of that. The goal is to neutralize, take money off a pedestal. You need to see $1 is equivalent to $1,000. And I know right then and there's going to be a lot of like, oh, a few of you like, oh, no, I don't really agree with you. Like, it's not. It is, because money is energy. And if you've seen anything on money mindset, especially if you consume it on TikTok, if you consume it on Reels, or you follow money mindset coaches, even manifestation coaches, all they will say, one of the main pillars that I've seen over years of consumer, like I've been doing personal development, like even before I got into money mindset, I have consistently heard since I was like 17, 18, money is just energy. And back then I didn't really understand what that meant, but now I do. And that's where we need to neutralize it. You need to see that $1 equals $1,000. $1,000 equals $100,000. $100,000 equals $1,000,000. It's just the way that we are associating value. Now you see right now what's happening. Every single person who is living in the mass consciousness is freaking out about the economy, right? One thing, just to burst your bubble, remember law of polarity. What goes down must come up, and vice versa. So the way that the economy is going right now, that is just a flow of universal law. So in the downturn right now, there is going to be an upturn, and vice versa. This is how it's always going to operate. So that's like a side note for you to remember. But on this is thinking like, what is the value that I'm associating? And quite literally, what's happening, the universal flow in the economy of life is dictating that, okay, now this bottle of water was $2 3 years ago, and now we're deciding it's $8, right? Just to put it out there. And that is the exact same thing, but it's the what the difference is universal law of polarity, of vibration, and the way that we're thinking and the way that we're operating has determined that value, right? I think I've seen a meme, yeah, something like that on social media. Maybe you've seen it as well, where it's like, at the petrol station, the water is $2, and then Macca's is $5, and then at a fancy restaurant, it's like $18, right, for the exact same water. And again, when you come to a habit of neutralizing money and taking it off the pedestal, that's just the energetic. That's what do you put the value in buying that $2 water from the shop, the supermarket? And then what do you put the value in? What is the return from buying that $18 exact same water, but at a fancy restaurant? What is the return there? And that's how I see money. That's how I neutralize money. Like, what is my return that I'm getting from this? What is the value? What is the energetic exchange that I'm receiving from this? So if I'm going to the shop and I'm buying bread for $5, I don't freak out. I look as what's the exchange that I'm getting here? What is the quite literally the return on investment, and neutralizing that? If you right now want to, let's say, have a 30K raise in your job, or you want to build a six-figure business as you're listening to this, if you're someone who freaks the fuck out at buying a $5 coffee, that's you having money on a pedestal. That's you not having a relationship with money, and that's you not being able to neutralize that. You can't expect, and this is something I've had to learn the hard way, you cannot expect a six-figure business if the next day you're freaking out about paying $5 for a coffee. So again, just kind of, I've gone on a bit of a ramble, but to kind of like bring this point all together, you need to neutralize. And this comes into having a relationship with money and understanding it's just energy. It's just the exchange. It's just like back in the olden days, right? What did we use to exchange? Like sheep and cow and milk and eggs and all of that. Now it's just shifted to coins, paper, cards that we have, our Apple Pay, whatever it may be. And so when you neutralize and understand that it's energy, it's responding to you, again, law of vibration, whatever you're vibrating at, that's what you want to get into return. And so have you ever witnessed someone who is able to make money effortlessly? And I'll share with you a really good example that I just thought of today. If you are, in fact, she's world known, but she's Australian, Anna Paul, the TikToker. She obviously does OnlyFans, so she makes a shitload of income every single month. And again, if that kind of point triggers you, then that's something to keep in mind. Anything that I'm saying, I would say you need to actually sit down and neutralize that fact as well. Anyway, she makes a lot of money currently right now. I'm watching her TikTok vlogs, and she is in Europe traveling, and she just came off a cruise, and she said that her and her brother won something, won the jackpot at the casino on the cruise. And so they have treated themselves with the money they won to, I think Anna got a Cartier bracelet, and her brother Attis got a Cartier ring, and then they got some Cartier fragrance. So without actually knowing the amount, it's obviously a substantial amount of money that they won from the casino on the cruise. Now, my point to tell you this is she and her vibration with money, the way she is attracting money to her is phenomenal. And it's because she has, whether she consciously knows it or not, she has neutralized how she sees money. She also gives money away a lot. Maybe this is like a sub point. She gives a lot of money away to be able to receive money as well. And it's just an exchange. So there's definitely, if anyone's seen that vlog, if you've seen it, or if you go search for it, it may trigger you. It may trigger you, because I'm sure a lot of people are watching that. And I see comments on different people that share money wins or the amount of money they make on TikTok. And there's a lot of triggered people who are like, oh my God, why would you need to win that amount of money? You already have enough money. No, she's just gotten her vibration in alignment with abundance, in alignment with more and more money. She's neutralized it. She doesn't go into the casino and think, oh, fuck, I'm so stressed out. And you may sit here and be like, yeah, of course, because she's already a millionaire or whatever it is. No, it's because whether, again, she knows that consciously she has developed this deep love for money, but also, as I said, as a side point, giving money to be able to receive money. Again, another thing that used to trigger the fuck out of me was, okay, so I have to give money to make money. And But the thing is, you don't just give money away or like give it to charity or whatever it may be. It's about the investments you make in yourself. It's about why you're giving money. It's about what you're spending money on, right? If you were to think, okay, I'm going to be more giving with my money. So my friend is, I don't know, celebrating a promotion. So I'm going to go buy her flowers. If you're buying flowers because you're like, okay, I have to get better at my money relationship, I'm just going to go buy flowers, and I don't know, they're $50 flowers, and you're stressing the fuck out and you're like paying with it and you have this knot in your stomach. No, that's not that's not going to bring in more money. So this kind of feeds into my third and last point for this episode. Definitely let me know if you want me to do a part 2 on money mindset shifts. But feelings are the most important thing when it comes to the energy around money and how you are attracting money, how you're making more money, your relationship with money. What are you feeling? Going back to that example, because it really solidifies it in, is if you were paying for those flowers for your friend and consciously you're like, I'm being such a good friend, and like I'm giving money to make money and I'm going to be more abundant, but the moment you make that payment and you send them off, you have this pit in your stomach, or you're stressing the fuck out, or you're looking at your account and you're thinking, oh my god, I'm $50 down. That feeling, it cancels out all of the work you're doing. So everything that I've shared with you on this podcast episode will be canceled out by your feelings. And this is a mistake that I used to make, is I used to do all this work and I wouldn't see results because I would cancel it out with feelings of doubt, with feelings of lack, with feelings of anxiety and uncertainty around money and when I paid. I've shared this before, I think, on the podcast. My most hated bill used to be paying for my Optus phone bill. And for all my Americans, it's just like the carrier, the phone carrier that you pay for the bill and your data and stuff like that. And that was probably one of the bills I really had to neutralize around not hating. And when you think about it, it's ridiculous because my phone is probably my most used item, right? More than my MacBook, more than anything that I use, more than my skincare. It is my most used item. And it also has allowed me something that helped me neutralize. That phone has also allowed me to build an online business, has allowed me to connect with all of my clients that are all over the globe, has allowed me to do so much. And so it's looking for key things like this where you are neutralizing exactly the things that are triggering you or make you mad or make you anxious or make you upset when it comes to money, when it comes to abundance, when it comes to being able to be more abundant and wealthy and rich and feeling those. And you may sit here and be like, okay, it's all well and good, but I can't feel like that. I am in debt, Jess. I do have bills to pay, or I am stressed out, or I don't make enough money, right? Yeah, I totally get that. I've been there too. I've been there over and over again. And my shitty money mindset kept me there over and over again. But what I want to say is you really have to allow your body to feel what it feels like to be like. What if you envision right now the number you want or the thing that you believe money is going to buy you, right? Maybe you want $50,000 because you want a brand new car. So instead of just focusing on that $50,000, focus on the feeling. Is that car going to give you freedom? Is that car going to make you feel joy? Is it going to make you feel gratitude, happy? Like, what is that? And focus on that feeling. And then you need to spread those feelings out into everything you do. And again, going into the first couple of points is like spreading it into the relationship you have, spreading into neutralizing, being able to really, really feel that in your body. And it's why I meditate a couple of times a day. I get really, really quiet and I sit and I feel in my body. If I had X amount of money, when I'm making X amount of money in my business, what is that feeling? What are the things? Yes, the visualizations are happening in my head, but it's also like, what would I actually feel? What would like I see it in my mind that my next goal in business or what I'm going to be making month per month, I see it and I feel it. Remember, the subconscious brain does not know the difference between what is right and what is wrong. So, to create different neural pathways, it's all about the feelings. It's all about connecting the neural pathways differently through feelings. If you felt so shit about money for the longest time, of course you're going to be repeating the same story. But if you start to switch it, if you create a new neural pathway with a feeling to back it up, then you will be able to progress. And this is what I say to a lot of my clients as well, is you can put in all of the action you want. You can work 18-hour days and do it all, but unless you have the feeling there, you will not receive the abundance, the money, the wealth that you are truly desiring, because vibrationally, law of vibration, you are just not matching up to that. You're not. You can't do 18 hours of work on your business and want money that's going to give you the feeling of freedom, but feel shit, feel scarcity, feel in lack. Like I said, if you want me to do a part 2 on this, definitely slide into my DMs, let me know, post this on your story, give me your biggest takeaways from this. But I know how hard it can be to work through money mindset shifts. And this is why it's a core pillar inside of Elevate the Mastermind and diving in deeper into it. But it has transformed my entire life. I have to the left of me my goal I'm working up towards when it comes to my monthly income in my business. And I've neutralized it so much that I look at it and automatically I'm just quite literally staring at it right now and I get goosebumps. I feel good. My heart space lights up. And I've neutralized that. It's not on the pedestal. It's not something that I don't think it's attainable. Right. And so doing all of these things that I've shared today have been the most pivotal things that I've ever ever done for my money mindset. And I really, really hope they help you as well. They help you in the way I do. But like I said, money mindset is an everyday thing. It's not, let's listen to this podcast and then let's think about it for the next week. And then in 3 months' time, no, it needs to be an everyday type of thing. It's why I meditate 2 to 3 times a day, get into the feeling. It's why anytime I'm paying for something and maybe a limiting belief comes up, or I feel uneasy about a certain amount of money, I sit with it and I ask myself, I don't just spiritually bypass and write it down like I felt shit about paying for this. No, I actually understand, where is that coming from. A lot of my beliefs are rooted in watching my parents fight about not having enough money, always saying things were expensive, which I've shared on, I think, 2 episodes ago. Like, I don't use the word expensive. It's just, I use the word lux. It's, again, that's neutralizing money. Nothing's expensive to me. There are things that are well priced, but it's also like, do I even want that thing? Right? So watch your language. Again, I could do a part 2, so definitely let me know if you want a part 2. But I'm going to let you go. I hope you got so much for this. I would also love and appreciate you if you are able to leave a 5-star review on the podcast. That would mean so, so much for me on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever you listen to it. It honestly, it helps the podcast get seen. I do need to shout out my Americans. You had the highest percentage over the past month of downloads and listens. And also, I made it in the top 50 for Croatia mental health and Croatia self-development. So thank you, my Croatians. I will be in Croatia in a couple of weeks, so which is really, really exciting. But thank you. And to everyone else, you know how much I love you and I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.